Has anyone told you that you have so much potential, but you're wasting your potential? I can maybe say that at least 80% of you have heard that statement in your life. And if you haven't heard this exact statement, you've probably heard something that, corresponds to the statement. You see, I'm going to tell you a quick story right now. I had this friend who would, this friend, he was a smart friend. He wasn't super smart. And he was a smart person, okay? He was smarter than average. And yeah, but the only bad thing with him was that he was lazy. He was very lazy. And every time he'd do something, okay, let's say he had a test in school. Every time he'd do bad on a test, one of his teachers would come up to him and tell him that you have so much potential, but you're wasting that potential. Now, instead of being, sad or mad about it, that friend used to come to me and he used to get so happy because the teacher told him that he had so much potential. And he forgot everything about the test. He would get so energized and so happy that he had potential and he felt like he was special. And we're all special in our own ways. You could say that all day long. But you need to be realistic here. So instead of taking action, instead of studying for that test, studying for the next test, or doing something, that guy would sit on his bed and dream about how his teacher told him that he had potential, and he'd make himself feel special, and he'd blow himself up, and he'd think that he was the shit. He thought that he was a shit. By the time the next test came, he had already failed the test before even taking the test. So how do you live up to your potential? The first thing that I want you to forget is the word potential. Because there is no limit to your potential. It's not like you were born with this much potential and I was born with this much potential. You decide your own potential. No one decides your potential. So instead of wasting your time watching videos, watching movies, whatever it may be, I want you to think about what you need to do. We all have things to do. Okay? Think about the things that you need to do. And I want you to do them. Now this sounds super easy, right? Do the things that you're supposed to do. But it's actually harder than it sounds. But there are things that you could do that make this sort of task easier. And I have this one thing that I always do. If something comes up on my mind and I know that I have to do it, I usually do it immediately. Now, it also depends on how big that task is, and it depends on how much time I have. But if it's a small task, okay, let's say I have a small homework assignment. Now, most people, they just procrastinate, the homework assignment, and then, by the end of the day, they'll just, receive a message from their teacher, and the teacher will just tell you that you got an F. So, if it's a small task, and if it doesn't require much time, do it as soon as you think about it. Don't even wait, because these small tasks, they don't take much time, but if you keep on procrastinating them, you'll soon get more tasks, more homeworks, more whatever it may be, more, I don't know, anything. They'll add up and then they'll become this huge thing. They'll become this huge project that you need to spend time doing. And this is how you procrastinate. It's when you leave these smaller things. These smaller things, it's if you could figure out, a way to just do them immediately, I guarantee you that your life is going to get much easier and you're going to drastically reduce your procrastination. Start off with the small things. I'm not telling you to go out there and study for a test that's, due in 2 3 months. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm telling you to start with the small things. Now, it obviously helps to also work on the bigger projects, on the bigger things at the same time. But you need to realize that these bigger tasks, the easiest way to accomplish them, the easiest way to do them, isn't to sit there and just work for 3 4 5 hours straight. Because for your brain can't handle that much intensity, especially if it's a high intensity project. Your brain is probably not going to be able to handle that, and you're gonna, your work is going to be very poor. So break these tasks down, break these big tasks down into smaller tasks. This way, you'll be able to accomplish them just as you'd accomplish these other smaller tasks. Just bit by bit. Whenever you think about them, you do them. Whenever you have an extra 10 minutes, you just do them. 10 minutes isn't gonna kill you. You're not gonna miss out on the fun if you just spend 10 minutes doing something. But not doing this thing will result in depression, in stress, in anxiety. You're just gonna get all of these feelings. We all know this feeling just before a huge test when we don't know anything, right? We've all had that feeling. Or when you have this huge project and you haven't started with it and you have a day or two left, all of a sudden you feel depressed and you feel very stressed out, and then you usually get sick because of all the stress and all the shaking that you've been doing. You just once you're stressed, you start shaking, you start getting cold, and then at the end of the day you get a cold, and then you're sick, and then you can't go and do the test, and that's your excuse. So take action, take accountability,